Devin Miller had always valued his peace. His house at 428 Elm Street, nestled quietly in Oakwood Heights, was his sanctuary. His garage, especially, was his refuge. Restoring vintage car parts, working late into the night, it was his passion, his escape from the chaos of the world. But all that changed one Tuesday morning at 7:15 a.m., when he stepped outside with his coffee, only to witness a scene that made his blood run cold. There she was, Gladys Peaton, emerging from his garage, like she owned the place. Not just borrowing a cup of sugar or sneaking a quick peek. She had moved half her life's belongings into his space, stacking boxes, filling Chad's gaming setup, and setting up a makeshift living room in what was supposed to be Devin's haven. "Morning. Mrs. Peaton," Devin greeted, his tone polite but strained. She startled, dropping a box labeled Chad's Energy Drinks, the sound of breaking glass echoing sharply. "Oh, Devin," she said, voice breezy. "I was just organizing some storage. It's temporary until Chad gets back on his feet. You don't mind, do you?" Devin's grip tightened around his mug. "Actually, I do. This is my garage, and I need it for my work." Her face flickered. Surprise, then indignation, then a calculated smile that sent a shiver down Devin's spine. "Devin, honey, you hardly ever use it. I've been watching. Chad needs this space. He's building his brand as a gaming influencer. You should be more neighborly." He took a slow step toward her, trying to hide his rising anger. "This is my property. It's not up for negotiation." She lifted her chin, her eyes narrowing like a predator assessing its prey. "We've been such good neighbors, remember? When I advised you about landscaping, how it would be better if you didn't grow those urban vegetables. That was community standards. You should respect them." Devin felt a surge of rage. Her words, casual, racist, dismissive, weren't just about plants. They were an insult, a reminder of her condescension. "My vegetables are fine. The lock on my garage will stay, no matter what you say." Her smile hardened. "We'll see about that, Devin. Some people just don't understand community standards." She brushed past him with a shoulder bump that was more than just rude. It was a threat. In that moment, Devin made a decision. He pulled out his phone and ordered a heavy-duty lock. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more letting her push him around. Later that day, the locksmith arrived. Tom, the friendly professional, took one look at the scene and whistled. "Let me guess. You've got a neighbor who thinks your garage is her personal storage unit?" Devin nodded, watching Gladys from her kitchen window, Chad beside her, munching chips, both eyeing his garage like a prize. Tom chuckled. "This lock? It's a beast. Multiple deadbolts, steel construction. It'll take a bulldozer to get through it." That night, Devin installed the new lock, feeling a strange mixture of relief and foreboding. He wasn't naive. He knew the battle was just beginning, but for now, his sanctuary was secure. The next morning, the quiet was shattered by chaos. His trash cans, overturned, littered the street with cans and bottles, the contents strewn like some twisted art installation. And there, caught on camera, Chad, sneaking through his yard at 4 a.m., spray painting, "Give back our stuff," on his garage door. Devin's stomach clenched. The proof was irrefutable. His peaceful life was unraveling, and he knew this was only the beginning. "Would you like me to continue with Chapter 2? Devin stared at the fresh graffiti on his garage door, the spray-painted words glaring in the morning sun. "Give back our stuff." His heart pounded. The camera footage confirmed it. Chad, in the dead of night with spray cans in hand, sneaking onto his property, defacing his property deliberately. The proof was undeniable, yet a cold dread spread through him. This wasn't just vandalism anymore. It was a deliberate act of war. He reached for his phone, trembling slightly, and called the police. Within minutes, Officer Martinez arrived, her serious face taking in the scene with a quick glance. She watched the footage with sharp eyes, then turned to Devin. "This is serious," she said quietly. "Someone is escalating. We have enough evidence to press charges, but we need to catch him in the act again to make it stick." Devin nodded, feeling a mix of relief and anxiety. He's been sneaking around, I've got it on camera. I think he's trying to intimidate me. Martinez looked around, her gaze narrowing. We'll set up a stakeout, but you need to be prepared. This might get worse before it gets better. While they spoke, Devon's eyes drifted to the driveway. The cars blocking his exit hadn't moved. Their presence was a clear message. This was their territory now. He knew Gladys was behind it. She'd weaponized her community, turning neighbors into pawns, and herself into a victim. But he refused to back down. That night, Devon sat in his living room, eyes glued to the security monitors. Every shadow, every flicker of movement made his pulse race. Around midnight, he saw Chad approach again, this time with a crowbar, trying to pry open the garage lock. Devon's breath hitched. He picked up his phone and whispered, "Now." Moments later, the sirens blared through the quiet street as police cars screeched to a halt outside his house. Officers stormed onto the scene, catching Chad mid-action. Chad froze, eyes wide with shock as cuffs clicked around his wrists. Gladys appeared just behind, frantic, her face pale. "He's trying to steal from us," she spat. "He's dangerous." Martinez's voice was calm but firm. "Ma'am, breaking into someone's property with a crowbar is a crime. You're both under arrest for attempted burglary and vandalism, and I suggest you come with us to talk." Chad's mouth opened, then closed, as the reality hit him. His bravado was gone, replaced by sheer panic. "Mom, I didn't mean to." "Save it," Martinez snapped. "You're lucky I don't charge you with assault, too." As they were led into the patrol cars, Gladys turned her head, eyes blazing. "This isn't over," she hissed. "You've destroyed our family." Devon watched her go, feeling a strange mixture of relief and foreboding. The police had taken them away, but the war was far from over. He knew her game now, staging evidence, spreading lies, turning neighbors against him, and weaponizing the system. Her ankle bracelet and probation were just a temporary setback, but the next morning Devon woke to a new attack. His mailbox, the only thing left untouched, was vandalized with racist symbols, mocking words scrawled in red spray paint. The cameras, he noticed, had been sprayed, their lenses temporarily blinded. His stomach clenched again. This was no random act. Someone was watching him, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He reviewed the footage. It was clear. Chad, again, approaching at night with a bucket of water, pouring it over the spray-painted rocks outside his house. The staged evidence, the staged outrage. His enemies had gone beyond vandalism. They were now orchestrating a campaign of psychological warfare. Devon's mind raced. He called Officer Martinez, who responded immediately. "This is escalating," she said grimly. "Someone is trying to break you. We need to act fast. Stay inside, keep everything documented, and don't react emotionally." He nodded, feeling the weight of it all. His property was under siege, not just physically, but in every way possible, socially, legally, psychologically. And he knew that if he didn't fight back smartly, this nightmare would only deepen. Over the next few days, every effort to regain control was met with new tactics from Gladys and her allies. Fake complaints flooded the HOA, claiming violations that didn't exist. Excessive security, unpermitted modifications, aggressive landscaping. Devon's efforts to defend himself were thwarted by bureaucratic red tape, fines, and threats. Every attempt to explain was met with accusations of disruption and community discord. The system was weaponized against him, designed to push him out. Meanwhile, Chad's online reputation was being manipulated. His victim narrative gained traction, fueled by staged videos and false accusations. Supporters rallied, calling Devon a racist, a villain, a threat to the neighborhood. Social media posts spread like wildfire, turning the quiet street into a battleground. Then came the staged protest, a crowd gathering across the street, signs demanding Devon's removal, cameras rolling. They blocked his driveway with cars, shouting slogans, waving signs. Devon, standing inside, felt his nerves fraying but kept his composure. He refused to be baited. That was when he decided to fight fire with facts. Deep in his heart, he knew the truth. His footage, his documentation, his legal advice. These were his weapons now. He uploaded a detailed video titled "The Truth About 428 Elm Street," showing Chad's break-in attempts, staged evidence, and the racist remarks by Gladys. Within hours, the tide turned. The online community saw the manipulation. The support shifted. Accusations turned into calls for accountability. The police, seeing the evidence, pressed charges. Chad and Gladys faced real consequences: arrest, charges, probation, and restraining orders. But the battle wasn't won yet. Gladys, furious and humiliated, launched her final assault. She staged a media stunt, standing in front of the cameras crying about persecution, claiming Devin was harassing her family, and spreading lies about racial discrimination. Supporters gathered again, this time more angry, more determined. Devin watched it all unfold, knowing he had won the legal war but still facing the psychological one. The community was divided, trust shattered, but he refused to be defeated. He kept his garage locked, his documentation ready, and his resolve intact. Finally, after months of chaos, the storm subsided. Chad's charges were dropped and he moved away, defeated and disillusioned. Gladys served her probation, then moved out quietly. The neighborhood slowly returned to normal, or at least a new version of it. Devin looked at his garage one last time, a symbol of his resilience. He knew the battle had been about more than property. It was about standing up for his rights, his dignity, and his peace. And in the end, he had won. By staying calm, documenting everything, and never giving up. The war was over, but the lesson lingered. Sometimes, the best way to deal with a Karen isn't to fight her at her own game. It's to outsmart her, stay steady, and let her own actions reveal who she truly is. The garage remained locked, his sanctuary now more precious than ever. Devin stared at the sign taped next to his garage door, the words glaring in the dim morning light. "We're sorry. Your neighbors." His heart hammered. For weeks he'd been fighting a war he never wanted. Weaponized lies, staged evidence, harassment that escalated with every passing day. And now, someone had crossed a line even his enemies hadn't dared approach. Their final desperate attempt to break him. He looked at the sign again, then slowly, cautiously opened his garage. It was supposed to be his sanctuary, his retreat from the chaos. But there, in the corner, was something new, something chilling. A neatly folded piece of paper, with his name written in bold, shaky handwriting. His hands trembled as he unfolded. It was a letter. No, a threat. "Devin, we've had enough. You can't keep us out forever. You think you're safe with those cameras and locks? Think again. We're coming for what's ours, one way or another. You've pushed us too far. This isn't over." Devin's stomach sank. He knew this voice. He'd heard it before, in the dark, late at night. Chad's. But Chad was in jail, facing charges that would ruin him. Or so he thought. Then, the faintest click echoed through the garage. Devin froze. The sound of the lock being tampered with. His blood ran cold. Someone was inside. Someone who knew exactly how to break him. He reached for his phone, trembling, and hit record. "Stop," he whispered. "Whatever you're doing, stop now." But the silence was broken by a faint metallic scrape. The door handle jiggled. Devin's breath hitched as he saw the lock's shadow shift. Then, with a sudden burst, the door swung open. Standing there was Chad. Not the broken, defeated boy he'd seen in jail, but a different Chad, eyes wild, face flushed with desperation. In one hand he held a crowbar, trembling just enough to betray his fear. "What are you doing here?" Devin demanded, voice hoarse. Chad's lips trembled. I didn't want it to come to this. I just wanted my stuff. You took everything. My gear, my setup, I needed it back. I was going to ask, but then I saw you lock it up. I didn't see another way." Devin stared, stunned. "You're trying to break in? After everything?" Chad's eyes darted around, then dropped to the ground. I don't want to hurt you, I can't take it anymore. They're all against me. Mom, the neighborhood. I thought if I got my stuff, I could fix everything, prove I'm someone, not just some loser kid. I didn't mean to do any damage, I swear. Devin felt a shiver run down his spine. This wasn't the Chad he'd known. This was a different creature. Desperate and dangerous. His mind raced. Was this just a breakdown? Or had Gladys pushed him too far? Before he could say anything, the door behind Chad swung open wider. Gladys appeared, breathless, eyes darting. Chad, what are you doing? We don't need this. We can talk. But Chad shook his head violently. No, I've had enough. I've been hiding in there, pretending everything's fine, but I can't anymore. Suddenly he lunged forward, smashing the crowbar against the lock. Sparks flew and the metal groaned under the impact. Devin's heart pounded as the lock shattered, the door swinging open completely. Chad's eyes widened in shock. It's open. I did it. I got it open. But before he could step inside, Devin moved fast. He grabbed a nearby broomstick and slammed it against Chad's chest, knocking him backward. Stay away, Devin growled, voice trembling with fury. You're not coming in. Chad stumbled, eyes wild. You can't stop me. I need my stuff. I need to get out of this hell. Gladys rushed forward, trying to grab Chad, but he shoved her away. Get off me, he yelled. I've had enough of your lies. You stole from me. You lied about everything. I'm taking back what's mine. Devin lunged, grabbing Chad's arm. Enough. This isn't the way. You're not going to destroy yourself or me over some stupid gaming gear. Chad's face twisted into a mask of rage and despair. You don't get it. You think you can control everything. But I'm done. Hiding, I'm done pretending. If I can't have my stuff, no one can. And with that, Chad swung the crowbar again. This time the impact was different. It hit Devin's shoulder, sharp, forceful. Devin staggered back, clutching his arm, eyes wide with shock. His mind raced. How could he stop this? How could he protect himself from someone who had nothing left to lose? Then suddenly the sound of sirens cut through the chaos. Red and blue lights flashed as police cars screeched to a halt outside. Devin's heart leaped. Help had arrived. Chad froze, the crowbar still raised. Gladys's face drained of color as officers stormed into the garage. Freeze! Drop the weapon! One officer commanded. Chad's eyes darted wildly. He's trying to steal from us. He's dangerous. One officer stepped forward, hand on his taser. Drop the crowbar now, or we'll use force. Chad hesitated, then slowly lowered the crowbar, trembling. His eyes filled with tears. I just wanted my stuff, he whispered. Devin looked at the scene, then at Chad. So broken, so lost. His mind flashed back to the months of manipulation, lies, threats, to the staged evidence, the social media campaigns, the false accusations. He realized something. Chad wasn't just a pawn, he was a victim too. But the true revelation hit him like a thunderclap. As the officers cuffed Chad and led him away, Devin saw Gladys clutching her purse tightly, her face twisted with fury and something darker, defeat mixed with rage. And then, a sudden movement caught Devin's eye, a flash of something glinting near the garage. He looked closer. There, hidden behind a toolbox, was a small, crumpled piece of paper. He bent down and unfolded it. It was a photograph, an image of his garage door taken from the night Chad had tried to pry it open. But what made his blood run cold was the tiny, almost invisible detail. A tiny camera lens taped to the corner of the garage, hidden behind the toolbox. Someone had been watching him all along. Someone had been recording every move. Someone knew exactly how to push him to the edge, and that someone was still out there. Devin's mind raced. The game wasn't over. Not yet. He looked up at Gladys, her face a mask of fury, and knew this was just the beginning of her final, most dangerous move. Because she wasn't just trying to destroy him. She was trying to erase him, and she had one last card to play. The truth would come out. The entire twisted story would be exposed, and the world, his world, would never be the same again.